wanted to go over all the interesting moves that are going on and why teams are trying to get off certain players that are like their best franchise players. And it has a lot to do, I think, with the Supermax contract and what that negotiation looks like for those teams. Right now, De'Aaron Fox, can get a Supermax contract his next window, right? He can actually sign it right now. But I think the Kings don't want to sign him to that. And now they're under the gun, under more pressure, and have less leverage. So I think what the Mavs did, they went and dealt with the Luka issue right away. And why are teams willing to get off players like Luka and Fox? I think the Supermax contract is really interesting, and people throw the term around not really understanding the details of it. So I'm going to go over it a little bit more right now and show the issues with it and why teams are really scared to kind of take on that kind of money. Let's look into this for a second, right? So I pulled up a page here, that definition of Supermax contract. I'm going to go over it quickly. A Supermax contract refers to the contract that's actually called the designated veteran player extension. So it has to be an extension on an existing contract, right? In order to qualify for a Supermax contract, the players must have 7 or 8 years of service in the league. So basically what it takes to qualify for the 30% max in normal terms and still be with their original teams, unless they were traded, James Harden, or acquired by assignment via amnesty waiver, which is all a bunch of different things. But the main thing there, if they were traded, so like directly to the next team can kind of, I think, do it, but there has to be a certain amount of time left on the contract before this period, I think. I'm not too sure what time frame they need to be traded in, but you can see that it has to be like either the team they're drafted on or they were directly like traded or something like that, right? So, okay. In addition, the players must distinguish themselves as top-tier talent through one of the following 3 ways. Named to an All-NBA first, second, or third team in immediately preceding season or in 2 of the last 3 years. So, like, you have to get All-NBA either the season before the contract or in the 2 seasons previous, and then you can miss a season before the contract and still get it. So number 2, named Defensive Player of the Year immediately preceding season or in 2 of the last 3, so similar. So number 3, named NBA MVP during 1 of the last 3 seasons. So you don't need the 2 before the 1 or the last 1, you just need 1 of the 3. And that qualifies you. But let's get into the logistics of what the contract is. So the designated veteran player extension, aka Supermax, allows players to add 5 more years to their existing contracts if they have 1 year left on their current deals, and 4 new years if they have 2 left on their current deal. So basically, yeah, if they have 1 left, they can sign for 5 more, and if they have 2 left, they can sign for 4 more. Teams are able to pay out 35% of their salary caps to players who qualify for a Supermax player. The 35% is calculated based on what the salary cap is projected to be in the first year of the Supermax extension. So that's key. So maybe waiting a year is better because the cap's higher in that second year that you sign it. Well, actually, it depends. Yeah, it depends, right? So, okay, for instance, a player who has a Supermax extension that kicks in during the 2020 season will be eligible for a maximum salary of almost $38 million, which is 35% of the projected $108 million salary cap. So this is a couple years ago, so that's why the number is a little bit smaller. But this is the part that hurts, right? Because a bunch of players have like 35% maxes, but this is the problem. And in addition, these players are entitled to an annual 8% increases in their salary due to the fact they are bird rights players with bird rights. Right, so okay, this is the issue. They can ask for more on top of the 35, and that's what makes the Supermax valuable. See, like you can get a 35 outright off. You can get a 35 on your rookie extension if you do this stuff early in the first year or whatever. There might be different rules of eligibility and changing on that contract, but this is the problem because when I looked at Dame's Supermax, they cite it here, Damian Lillard's Supermax. He got an extra like $6-7 million each year, like added on top of the 35. So like you're already like so hard giving out so much salary, and then you're giving more on top of that, and that's why teams don't really want to do that because it's literally impossible even to build around like a player making more than 35% of your cap. Especially with the aprons made things more strict, so teams are more fearful of taking on that money and having to negotiate with a star that has extreme leverage in these smaller markets or whatever and can pretty much demand a king's ransom of money based on this addition right here. This is the issue. If they're entitled to it, they're going to get it, right? Like, that's the thing, right? So it's tough, man. It's tough to really get put in these spots where you have these players coming off their rookie extensions, right? Rookie max extensions turn into super maxes if they've hit the certain qualifications, right? So that's tough, man. That's a tough negotiation. I think the Mavs are getting off it early. Hopefully this explained it out a little bit more, what the super max is and why it's kind of hurtful to kind of sign. All right, see ya. Have a good one.